This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz, and I'm very excited to be speaking with Kayli Carter and Charlie Tahan about I'll Be Right There. How are you both doing today?
Great.
Very
Good to
good.
see you.
How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm great. Nice to start the day with this film. Can you tell me what appealed to you about these roles specifically?
Sure. I actually, when I read the script, I reached out to my friend Merritt Weaver, who had worked with both Brendan and Edie previously on Nurse Jackie, and just doing my due diligence, asking how it was to work with them both. And Merritt's first thing she said to me is, I haven't read the script, but do anything that you can within your power to work with Edie Falco. It changed my life completely. We have similar DNA and taste in all things having to do with acting. So when she said that, I was pretty sold that I needed to work with Edie, no matter what it took.
Yeah, and I mean, same for me. Yeah, first just hearing about the project was just to work with Edie. We had worked a little bit together, not as much as on this in the past, but I've always admired Edie and loved her as a person too. But yeah, as far as like the script, I really liked the script and thought that it reminded me of my mom, to be honest, and sort of like how I can be with my mom sometimes, honestly. And yeah, it was just a great script and cast, so it was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
When you think about Edie, is there a specific performance before this film that always would come to mind?
I always think of Nurse Jackie.
Yeah. I mean, who doesn't think of The Sopranos? I mean, who doesn't? Iconic. She also really talked me through. I was wearing these very long fake nails during the production, and she had a lot of tips on how to deal with those and not go crazy from her time playing Carmela. So that was helpful. But everything she does, I think she's a deeply connected actor. Currently, she's doing theater, and she always goes back to that because she's a real, like, honest to goodness, committed to the work sort of actor.
There's, as you mentioned, such a great cast aside from just Edie, but I feel like you don't necessarily get a chance to interact with everybody. But I assume with a small film like this, you do still get to be with them, even if on camera you don't get to share scenes.
Abe, between you and me, I tried my hardest to get a scene with Bradley Whitford. I tried it on the set, on the day. I worked really hard to let's just get him in the hospital room. Because of course you want to do a scene with everybody in that cast.
Yeah.
I think that is sort of the point of this film in some ways. It's about, Wanda and her individual relationships with all these people who really should know each other and should be spending time together, but it's always just her and them. And so I assume that affords a nice opportunity to get to really dig down and just, be with Edie and
Mhm.
work on that relationship. Because that's really what we see, even if we hear about the fracture dynamics, between the other characters.
Mhm.
Yeah, we each had our own relationship with what this family was, I'm sure. But the days that we all got together, like particularly the day that we had Jeannie, myself, Charlie, and Edie all together, it really did seem like all of our ideas about who this family was and what their dynamics were the same. We didn't really have to talk about it, which is my preferred method. I don't really care to talk too much about acting before I do it. So I really appreciated that everybody just came in and the symbiosis was there. We didn't really have to cultivate anything.
Yeah, I'm a very nervous person, but I just had very few nerves because I was with Kayli and JD and Edie, and they make it very easy.
Yeah.
What do you say about Jeannie Berlin as an actress and just getting the chance to work with her?
Oh, a dream.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I dream. And it was funny because when I went to go see the costume designer for the first time, the great thing about a movie like this is you really get to chat with all departments and form this person with them because they're open and interested in your ideas. And we realized very quickly that Jeannie and I had sort of very similar requests about who these women were, and that like all of the style and the sort of like pomp that Jeannie brought kind of like skipped Wanda, skipped Edie's generation, and went straight to me, that there was like a direct line between Jeannie and I, and we were on such the same page. And I really appreciated that.
Do you feel like you got an unusual degree of input into that kind of thing for your character, or is that pretty typical on a project like this?
I felt like I got a lot. I was asked a lot who I thought Sarah was, because she was someone on the page, certainly, and she was very specific. But I also wanted to do service to where we were filming. I went and sort of just like meandered around the town, like drove over to the town and kind of people watched all day. And I was really struck by all of these women who had like perfect nails, perfect makeup and lashes, and then their hair was just like piled up in a bun, and they were wearing workout clothes and flip-flops, but like they had put so much attention to detail in certain things that really mattered. And that kind of sent me on I was like, oh, I think that's who she is. I think she's this woman walking out of this grocery store in Pearl River.
And Charlie, I can tell even just in terms of what you're wearing now versus what Kayli is wearing now, that the costumes may not have been quite as important to you. I say that with the nicest possible way.
Got
Well,
him.
no, I think no, I mean, there was a little. I mean, I can make up if there was some thought put into it. No, I don't think that Mark puts much thought into it, just like I don't. I think Mark sort of rolls out of bed, throws on his hoodie that he wears every day, and that's the kind of kid that he is.
Were there any challenges that either of you faced in terms of relating to these characters and just really bringing them to life?
I mean, it was honestly a slow sort of like I didn't really feel like I had my footing until a couple days in, honestly. And like really until we like got the whole family together. I mean, I mostly just tried to like lean into the comedic elements of the film. And like my earliest scenes were like with Edie. And so yeah, I mean, I always have a little bit of trouble like at the beginning, being confident in whatever decisions I'm making, but no, it kind of all fell into place with this, just with really the help of the cast and with Brendan.
Yeah. I think for me, I'm much more pragmatic than Sarah is. Sarah doesn't take things in stride very well. New information is hard for her to digest. I did try to ground that because I knew that there was a highly comedic element written into Charlie and I's parts specifically, like that it was important that we needed to do for the story a lot of comedic heavy lifting. But I wanted to really thread that needle of like, yes, I can see where the jokes are, but also I think the loss of control is really scary to her. And I know a lot of women who, when they got pregnant, the reality that their entire life would be different and that they no longer would be caring about numero uno was pretty reality shifting, and that's scary. So I also wanted to make sure there was still space for that she could be scared genuinely and not for comic effect.
I know that this film has been around for a while. I know I missed it at a festival, I think last year, and I imagine it was filmed both, during the pandemic and also with marketed a lot during the strike. How was that affected? Just like, how are you feeling about this film? And do you remember what it was like to actually make it? Because I assume that was a while ago.
I think no matter how long ago a project was, I have a pretty hard time remembering anything, in general. But no, I totally remember this, and I've had excitement about this project throughout.
Yeah. Charlie and I got a little bit of overlap when we were just filming A Complete Unknown. And we did over dinner say, like, you think this movie's coming out? Like, we really wanted to have this experience with everybody of, like, when you make something, I always, when I'm in it, like, that's the most important part, is spending time with everybody and making the thing together. And then you don't know what's going to happen to it. And I think especially right now, it's not guaranteed that anything's going to play in a theater. So we were both, I think, really excited to get the band back together.
Imagine that A Complete Unknown is going to play in the theater. Is there anything you can preview about that without getting any of us in trouble?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't think we're on the list of folks they're keeping abreast of all new knowledge, but Christmas release, yay. I mean, exciting.
Well, before I let you go, I just want to jump back for each of you to an impactful role that I always, as soon as I knew I'd be talking to you, I was like, oh. And for you, Kayli, that's private life, which I think is, you were talking about, pregnancy and all these other things that I feel like there is sort of a through line between this character and that one. Do you see a connection there at all?
People are always trying to get me pregnant on screen or give me babies. It's pretty constant in my career. I I do see a sort of through line between Sarah and Sadie. But it's also, I see a through line between, like, what drew me to those projects is a script that feels immediate and is a slice of life, and some auteurs behind it who really want their vision executed, but are open to ideas from creative collaboration. That's, I think, the biggest through line I see. Is I just love making independent film because it allows for me to collaborate with other smart artists.
Charlie, Wyatt from Ozark, I feel like has to be a defining role. Do you feel like people are always recognizing you from that? And is that an association that you like, that you feel guides a lot of your other choices?
No, I don't feel like it guides any of my other choices. I never thought about a through line between. I never thought about a through line between this character and Wyatt, but I suppose they're both. You have to think about it, like, they are both sort of in limbo stages of their lives where they're a little directionless and don't know what to do, and probably could use a little structure. But
That's fair.
Do you think
Well,
Wyatt
this
would
is
do well in the military?
no,
No.
definitely not.
well, this is Awards Buzz, so we always love talking about awards. So before the last question, I want to know is there something, a film or a show or performance that you've seen recently that you feel is particularly awards worthy and is really sticking with you at the moment?
Oh, I just saw Sing Sing the other day, and I will say, I mean, I've known Coleman Domingo is an incredible actor for a long time, but that movie in particular, I mean, I dare anybody to go watch that and leave without, like, I immediately started searching, like, how to get involved with incarcerated folks in theater. That is one of the best things I've seen in a very long time.
Choice. What about you, Charlie?
I don't know what I've seen this year. Yeah, I haven't gotten the Boy and the Heron. Robert Pattinson put in an excellent performance in The Boy and the Heron.
Well, thank you both. Such a pleasure, and I wish you plenty of luck in the future.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.